Well, and welcome to my Far Cry 6th review. I'm going to attempt to keep this spoiler free, but I mean, it's bloody Far Cry. I can more than assume you know what's going to happen. Um, so in the event anything does get spoiled, I mean, it's Far Cry. I'm not going to say anything in particular, but if you've played any of these games, you probably know what's going to happen. Conveniently, this is Hugh. So, Far Cry 6. I played as female Danny, by the way. As you can play as a man or woman. The woman was the first option, she was in the trailer, so I thought, nah, fuck it. And her voice actor's not that bad, also ignore that man dancing in the background. I've turned the music off, for obvious copyright reasons. So you get a lot of scenes like this in the game, where people try and dance, but they look like idiots. But anyway, so, Far Cry 6. It's a pretty, I mean, I know I said when I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla that I was never going to play another Ubisoft game. But when you do Ubisoft Plus for like £13 a month, whatever it is, I'm going to play Far Cry 6, and I'm glad that I did. And in a weird way, I may have been happy buying this full price. Within reason, but... so yeah, so Far Cry 6, obviously, is another Far Cry game. And like I said, there's not really much more to say beyond that if you already know what a Far Cry game is, but in the event you don't, or you're unique about this one... Oh god, I'm not going to do that just in case, spoilers. So, you get a fairly large-ish map. The map is definitely a little bigger than it looks, because as you can clearly see, all these light marks are where I've been, all these shadows are where I haven't. So you can clearly see a certain pattern to this game. Like, obviously I started the game over here. You can start anywhere in any of the 3 provinces, but I started over here. And so, obviously I'm here, then obviously I worked my way over to here, I believe, so that was the closest place I could go. And then, I don't remember if I started here, I probably did. And then obviously you work your way up, and then, basically wherever like these checkpoints and, military targets are, you can clearly see where I've took my path, like obviously along the road where the checkpoints are. And again, it's your usual Far Cry stuff where you'll go in, do a thing, kill some people stealthily and leave. So checkpoints, you would normally kill 3 or 4 people and then destroy a billboard and you take them over. Military targets, obviously your more usual, go in, kill like 15, 20 people, hopefully don't set off the alarm and take it over. But again, as always with Far Cry, this is both a passive nice thing I like this game has, but also on the flip side it's not. So this game has a nice array of weapons. So these are your resolver, if you ignore my Spanish. But these are your special weapons in the game, like the Macarena gun. Where is it? I know I've got the Macarena gun. The Disco Locos, which is the Macarena gun. Because of course. But like obviously flamethrowers, grenade launchers, a Zeus gun, because why the hell not? So obviously these are nice random weapons, but then I guess kind of the trailer showed off more of these, but like this is all you've got. And then it goes to your generic cliche real life weapons, with which you have all of these as assault rifles. Oh wow, I missed the M16. And then you have also the unique rifles, which are basically the exact same as your normal guns. It's just that these are forced upgrades. So obviously you can, where is it? No, I'll do it this way. So you can obviously upgrade your weapon. Obviously I've put armor piercing rounds on this. Obviously I've got a suppressor on, and obviously I've got an ACOG sight. So obviously with this, I can do whatever I want to this gun because it's my gun, I own it, and I can put whatever upgrades however I want. But with these guns, you're stuck with what they've got. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because early game, if you find these first, then they're still very good weapons to use. But by the time you find literally any other weapon, it's better just to stick with any of these, because again, being able to equip whatever you want. Like, again, like I should have probably been using this rifle, because obviously my gun only has armor-piercing round, suppressor, and a sight, whereas this gun allows me to change my weapon, my ammo type, equip suppressors or muzzles, so like if you want a compensator to increase damage, obviously a scope, I assume a laser sight, oh no, canted sight, and then a laser sight. So that's what this gun allows me to do. So it has a little more options in its accessories, and then you can also equip some mods. I can't really show them off here, but I can show them off on my PPFH. So then the mods basically allow you to give your weapons buffs, like obviously chance on healing on dealing damage, which is nice. I never noticed that skill, to be honest, so I don't know if that skill is actually useful, but it's a skill nonetheless. Obviously improved magazine size, which again is kind of worthless, I think, because I think the magazine went from 90 to 95, so again, yeah. And then obviously improves aim weapon damage. I mean, I'm going to aim down sights with a bloody 95 mag PPSH. But so yeah, so you can have a variety of these kind of weapons, obviously like increased reload speed. I don't remember the rest of them. I'll try and get to a workbench and I'll have a look. But yeah, also the other thing that you can do is you can also equip different armor. Now, the armor in this game doesn't give you stats. They give you buffs. So you can look at any of these and none of these matter, whichever ones you want to pick. The only reason why you want them is like this one, automatically tag nearby animals. It's a DLC item, but the only thing I would probably have liked with this game is, unless if I can do it this way. So yeah, so if you hover over an item that you've got, it tells you, so like that improves armor piercing defense. So obviously if enemies have armor piercing rounds, you equip that, then you'll take less damage. But I believe armor piercing against flesh doesn't do more damage anyway, so I'm not too sure if that's worthwhile. But the only thing that I wish this game would do is, because it does tell you, like search guerrilla paths, treasure hunts, or purchase from a camp facility or Juan's arms dealer, it would be kind of nice if it sort of gave you an idea or just tell you what each of these do, so you can at least keep an eye out or maybe know what you're looking for instead of randomly turning up to it and finding it. But obviously if you do press F, you do kind of get an idea. Like, don't be afraid to catch those explosions right in the face. I'm going to assume explosion resistant damage. I think you can get explosive ammo type in this, which is nice. So that's what you can do with these. So there's no like, oh, this armor gives me 10 defense and also predators don't attack me whilst fishing. It's none of that. It's just that's all they do. So again, it kind of forces the... This game isn't RNG based. I believe these obviously are... Same with the guns. I believe these are all placed in specific locations, so I'm sure someone out there has a map of where all these are, but you can buy them, because, on to my next point, camps. You get 3 factions in the game, 1 for each province, and in each faction you can, build camp facilities, and there are only 6 in the game, so obviously you're not potentially picking and choosing, but obviously in my first camp I picked Hideout Network. I'm fairly certain it was Hideout Network, but Hideout Network, that skill is just the best camp facility skill in the entire game, because, number 1, it gives you the paraglider. So, I mean, as we all know, the paraglider is a very good way of getting around the Far Cry games if you're on a high mountain. The other thing it does is, obviously, I believe that also then allows you to airdrop from locations. So again, being able to airdrop and with your paraglider, that is the only way I got around in this game. Because obviously you can imagine, like if I've done this checkpoint and there's a checkpoint up here, I could fast travel here and drive. Or I could just airdrop, paraglide straight in, and you're probably there maybe a little bit quicker. Or obviously, like if I want to go, say from, I don't know, say if I only know, say this location, if this wasn't a hideout, and say I only know this location, I could obviously go here, paraglide down, and it's still going to be quicker than going all the way around, down, across, and up the mountain. It'll still be quicker to go straight along, and you'll pretty much land outside. The other thing that that skill does is it allows you to buy every single hideout, because I believe if you go to the hideouts, I don't know because I never checked this, but if you go to the hideouts before you buy them, I believe they get added to your map for obvious reasons, and I think you can then fast travel to them. I don't know, because I do know that this was on my map at one point and I just never went to it because I just assumed, oh, you know, because I've sort of been there, you know, going to this oil platform because I was in this general vicinity anyway, I assumed, oh, well, obviously I've been near this area, I'll have it, but then when I ran over here somewhere, it disappeared. But obviously by buying this skill, I then bought all the hideouts, which means even the hideouts, so obviously I'm over here on this third of the game, and obviously all the way over here, this hideout was then available and I could airdrop from it, which as you can clearly see, I've done, because when you're in the air in this game, it doesn't count when you've travelled, it only counts if you're on the ground travelling. So obviously as you can see, I've airdropped from here to land in here, or land about here, and then run to the hideout, and then obviously fast travel from here, well, airdrop from here to do these two. As you can clearly see, I've never explored here, because I've probably been missing some stuff. But that's the one massive benefit I love about this game, is obviously if you get that skill first, no matter where you start in the game, but if you get that skill first, you can obviously travel from this part of the game all the way to the complete opposite side of the game, not to there, because that's a story mission, but say to here. And it's a very, very nice way of getting around the map, because again, I'm a fan of convenience, and because this game conveniently gives me the ability to fast travel around after buying the hideouts, the game gets so much better, because that means I'm not slogging, say going from this part of the map, oh now you've got to go all the way up to this corner, which means you've got to drive all the way up and through, all the way around, all the way up, and it would just be a pain in the... and then also running through who knows how many checkpoints getting to, like, it would just be a pain in the arse. So thankfully that has that. There are some other skills that these camps have that are not really useful for me, like La Cantina, which obviously if you hunt in this game you get animal meat. Animal meat, you then give them to the cook, you then get buffs, I think, for an hour. I never use them because I'm not going around hunting for animals, because again, when one-tapping men in the face with any gun, I don't need buffs necessarily. But yeah, so the guns that I used in this game, I used this since the beginning of the game. I've not changed this gun since, because it was my armor piercing round gun, so obviously any enemies wearing armor, I would need this. Whereas my third gun, my first gun was just a generic assault rifle with fleshy target bullets. So obviously that was useful against armor, so then when armor turns up you use that. And then I had a sniper. I switched my sniper out, well sorry, I stopped using my sniper after a while because the sniper has bullet drop. I don't know because I haven't tested this, but I don't think your other guns have bullet drop. And the bullet drop for snipers in this is very severe. Like, excuse me, you could be within arm's distance of someone and you still have to aim slightly upwards. Like, I'm not a massive fan of like severe bullet drop, especially in a game like this. Like, I don't mind bullet drop, but I don't want severe bullet drop where I'm in a facility and I should, within reason, just point the red dot sight and pull the trigger. Sadly, that doesn't happen, and sometimes you do have to aim, like if their head's here, you sometimes do have to aim quite a bit above to get the headshot, and it's kind of just a little annoying. Whereas, with my generic assault rifle with an ACOG sight, I feel like there's no bullet drop whatsoever, and there potentially isn't. But because if that's true, I then completely drop that gun, and then, like I say, if you're headshotting guys anyway with armor, you're going to one-shot them with this gun because you've got armor-piercing rounds. But then if you're also going to headshot fleshy targets with no armor, a headshot's a headshot. So after a while, I just stopped using the sniper rifle and just exclusively used this gun for stealth operations, which was basically 95% of the game. And then I only recently switched to the PPSH and the MG21 because, I mean, obviously 80 round magazine, 95 round magazines for fleshy targets. Like, obviously I could take out most of the armor targets, and if I got caught, obviously I've then just got two basic LMGs, even though this is supposed to be an SMG. But I've basically got two LMGs, or two big round magazine guns, to just gun anyone down, especially if an alarm goes off. And beyond that, I did not use any other gun, I'm afraid. I did use the bow at one point, and I hit someone with it and they didn't die, so I stopped using it. And this was stealth, by the way. This was stealth. Fleshy target, wasn't an armored target. Hit them in the body and they went, oh, what? Whereas I believe normally Far Cry would be, if they know you're there, then arrows won't one-shot. But if you're stealthing, then arrows will still one-shot. I believe I remember correctly, so whatever. And again, I mean, obviously if I'm headshotting fools with bloody armor-piercing round gun, bows in this game was not going to be useful to me. So that's sort of the guns and the operation, well, not the operation, but the location. So now, the story's whatever. Personally, like I say, it's your usual Far Cry tropes of, here's your big bad villain in some cutscenes, and, you know, play through them until you go after the big bad villain. And like I say, it's nothing special. I mean, bollocks, I forgot the actor's name who plays him in this. I mean, he portrays a good part. I mean, he's an actor. Of course, he's going to portray a good part. But I think everyone sort of plays their part quite nicely. Even the voice actress, and I suppose potentially even mocap for Danny here, the female version, actually played her part as well. But again, that's sort of par for the course for these games. So the story is nothing new and it's nothing overly special or entertaining, but it does its job and it's entertaining enough that if you want to play it for its story, then you won't be upset in any particular way. This game also has a sort of a side mission kind of a deal, where you can send these NPCs, which you have to get through side quests. But you can send these NPCs out on missions to get rewards. Like this gets me some, I believe, some gasoline, gunpowder. I don't remember what that is. Obviously more gunpowder and people. As you can see, I've got 187 recruits. That gets me another 5. And so like I say, you can send people out, like, and obviously get money, obviously more gunpowder. And these are kind of nice, you know, obviously whilst you're off doing your own thing. Like, I can send someone out on a mission here, but it will take 4 hours before they come back. You can, this is a good thing, you can send them out on a mission, turn the game off, come back 24 hours later, and it will still be done. That's the one thing that's nice. The only thing I don't like, excuse me, the only thing I don't like is this. So when you're doing these missions, you obviously I may as well show one off. You get to pick and choose how they work. So once the 4-hour timer, 1-hour timer, 6-hour timer, however long they last, once the timer's up, you then have to do these. So you just pick and choose what you want. So obviously you can pick and choose this, and these are the worrying ones, where it says leader could be wounded. If the leader does get wounded, like you saw with the other guy, that guy is out for 2 days. 2 whole days. Now, because I did beat this game in like 5 days, obviously to someone like me, someone like that being out for 2 days is a long ass time. If you're like most players who may be playing this maybe an hour each day or something, and it'll take you, say, maybe a month, maybe half a month, a couple of weeks to beat, then someone being out for 2 days is not really that much of a problem. But if you're like me and you sort of binge one game whenever you get the time and just play that, then someone being out for 2 days is a long ass time. Like, again, being out for 2 days and I beat this game in 5 days, that guy is out for 2/5, or obviously let's say half. He's out for half of my playtime total. So that's the only thing that I don't agree with. I don't. But basically, you choose your losses, you see your success rate, you pick, we won, and we didn't lose anyone, so you continue on to stage 3. Obviously, you can pick any of these, obviously 100% chance, but it costs 13 oil. I have 13 oil, so I may as well use it, continue. And then, obviously, I can't use Forest Fire because I'm now out of oil, because I don't have any more, because I haven't been picking up any. So now, this is, like I say, the problem. These now, obviously the Bandito operation could be aborted. Now that's a good thing, because that means he won't pass out for 2 days, but it means that everything we've done, we won't get this reward. When you take over a checkpoint, you get 5 people anyway, or when you take over a camp, the facilities, you get 10 people. So failing these isn't really much of a problem, because you can literally take 2 minutes out of your life, take over a camp, or no, you can take 30 seconds of your life, take over a checkpoint, and get this amount anyway. So obviously we'll just take the highest chance, and we won, and we lost 4 people, but we gained 5. So we gained 1. And that's basically how these Bandito operations work. They're alright if you want... If you want to buff your rewards, like if you want to get some money, because money is very scarce in this game if you want to buy anything. I don't recommend buying anything anyway, but like, money is very scarce, it is. So if you want money, this is the easiest way to do it, is to just always pick your money rewards. The other thing I will mention about this game is, unlike Assassin's Creed Valhalla, this actually has side content, like these. So over easy, Ramon's juiced up roosters escaped and now they're causing shit, get me one of their eggs. So, you know, just some small, simple side quests littered throughout the map. Obviously, I'll show them. Obviously, these ones are your side quests, so Undercover Stud, Everything to Lose, and so on. And they're nice. Obviously, I've not done them all, as you can see, because they pop up every now and then. But they're nice distractions every now and then. These diamonds are treasure hunts, so you get rewards and you get an item out of it. I assume you get potentially like armor, weapons, and stuff. Again, I never bother with them, because if it is just armor and weapons, I'm not too concerned about them, so I never bother doing them. And then you've also got like these. These are your... You get a crap ton of these, so these are just walk in, kill some guards, and then just steal a box, which gives you that loot, which it tells you. You don't get a gun out of it, sadly. And then you have also these, which again, you go to the radio, and then it tells you like, oh, there's a target here, you know, kill the dudes, steal the box again, and it gives you those rewards. So in terms of its side content, there's a lot, as usual, for a Ubisoft game, but there's not that many, all things considered. Again, like I say, with the fast travel option, you know, with airdropping or, you know, buying the hideouts, it makes traveling so much easier, so it makes doing these less tedious. But yeah, like, overall, I mean, I've enjoyed this game. I would recommend it. And that's a very hard, because I know, obviously, I had the whole rant and rage with Assassin's Creed Valhalla being a long, boring, tedious game with no side content, and that game took me 80 hours to beat. This game took me 23 hours. Granted, I haven't done all the content, and I will probably come back to this in my spare time. But the game took me to like 23, 24 hours to beat, and I was more than happy doing what I've done to get to a required level, you know, to beat the game, and obviously going to the level 16, Esperanza. So I can recommend this game in case you're on the fence. I mean, if you want to wait for a sale, go ahead. I mean, if you've got a PC, obviously this is on the Ubisoft Plus for $13.99 a month, I think it is, or $12.99 a month. In pounds sterling, that is. And obviously for that month, if you know you can get it done in a month, more power to you. Like, I would definitely recommend doing that. But otherwise, if you want to buy to keep, full price, I mean, sure, if you really want to push out, like you're really on the fence and you really want to get it, then yeah, this is definitely a game that you will enjoy. But if you're like me and you're sort of just meh with the Ubisoft games, then definitely wait for a sale, but this is definitely a game worth playing. Excuse me. This is definitely a game worth playing, even if, like me, you beat Valhalla and you're just like, no, I'm done. But no, this is a fairly decent game, and I like it. I like this game a lot. Yeah, I like this game a lot is the wrong term to use, but I like it enough that I don't think I ever raged at one point. I know I did at one point just because the game wouldn't pull the parachute sometimes. Or sometimes it did pull the parachute, but after I crash landed into a mountain somewhere. Or one time when I was paragliding, I pulled my parachute, but in the animation, Danny kicks her legs out and she stumped her toe on the edge of a mountain, died instantly. So you take what you can get, really. But I mean, yeah, I like this game, and it's kind of worth playing if you're really into it. But yeah, so I suppose that's the end of this review. Oh, 25 minutes, nice. But yeah, so like I say, obviously, again, as always, if you've got any questions and if there's anything that I've left out, do put it down below in the comments. I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability. I don't think I've missed anything. Oh yeah, the only thing I missed, I suppose, obviously, amigos. They're annoying just because I believe they can get caught in a minute whilst you're out stealthing, which is really annoying. But yeah, and then also you've got cars. But yeah, so like I say, if you've got any questions, I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what I'm going to be playing next, or reviewing next, but I'll see you then. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you then. Ta-ta.